Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and what you're about to see is an interview between myself and Joel here. He is creating a game called Polysemous. It's going to be launching on Kickstarter in late April. I don't know the exact date yet, but April 2023. This is a very chaotic game, very adventurous game that stresses that players just sort of go around to different boards and try to earn victory points. And he'll explain more about it here. But just something to keep in the back of your mind, everything that you're about to see is on Tabletop Simulator, and because this is like a prototype copy, everything that you're about to see is most definitely subject to change. Okay, well, thanks for sticking with me, and on with the show.
Yeah.
So, all right. Is there any setup that you need in terms of setting the board up, or is it all good from here?
Yeah, so it's all good from here. This version that you have at the moment is the one without the it is without the tutorial booklet, which
Okay.
yeah. Did you want the one with the tutorial booklet or just what we have here?
This is fine. I
Okay.
actually downloaded your rulebook that I'm looking at now.
Oh, cool.
So I may just refer to it every now and again and ask some questions, but
Yeah, no
mhm,
problems.
yeah. So first of all, how do you pronounce this game? Is it Polysemous?
Yeah, basically Polysemous. Yeah.
Polysemous. Okay, thank you. Uh,
Yeah.
and so, what's this game about? You're going to be. I did some reading, and it looks like you're
Mm.
going to be traveling across multiple boards to try and earn points off of these various boards. But please educate me here.
No, that's pretty well summed up, basically. But so it really is an adventure game that does change every time. This is the theme of the game. It's has heavy surreal elements, and basically you do travel across the 8 boards, and you try to get 2 victory points. That's all you need, 2 victory points to win that session.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
but there's different ways to get victory points, and the ways in which the potential to get victory points is formed is during setup. So the 3 ways to get victory points is to conquer a board. So each of the boards, well, 6 of the 8 boards,
Mm-hmm.
has a conquerable objective, and by completing that objective, you conquer the board. So this one, for instance, Gauntlet here, is simply just to get to the other side.
Okay. And
Um,
do you do
um,
that by rolling dice or?
Yeah, exactly. So the core mechanic of the game is roll and move. So
Okay.
D4 is used mostly, and is roll the D4 and move the amount rolled.
Okay.
Um,
Great. So.
yeah. So that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So you mentioned that one way to get victory points in this game is to control a board.
Yes.
So there are other
Or,
ways too to get victory points aside from that.
yeah. So conquer a board is number one. Well,
Hmm.
is one of them. Collecting a symbol is number two. So in the item deck here, which is that one,
Okay,
you have symbols, which let's see. I'll search the deck and have a look.
sure.
Oh, I can't search the deck. Oh,
Oh,
let's see if we
I
can
can give
get.
you. Let's see if I can.
Oh, yep. Thank you.
I will promote you. There we go. Hopefully that
Perfect.
works.
Yes, it does.
I like the art on
Why is it
these
not?
cards.
Yeah, it's awesome. Shubham Sharma is our graphic designer, and he's done a fantastic job. I was really lucky to find him.
Yeah. So you can earn these cards as you play the game. Is there a certain spot you have to land on? And you just draw them, or do you actually have to buy them with some kind of currency? Or
Yeah, so again, like, it's really heavy in the way it's an adventure, and the
hmm.
adventure is different every time. So there's no like one set way that things are going to happen every time. Of course,
Hmm.
there are ways that are better than others. But yeah, like on N-Rail, you can buy them. So N-Rail is this one here. By defeating this creature, you get access to its stash, and which is your treasure of items.
Hmm.
You can find the doors is pretty like random, I guess, in what you're going to get there. So
Okay.
yeah,
So there's a wide variety of different ways to get these cards, and some of these cards have these symbols or whatever it is that you're looking for to get those points.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Okay.
to collect a symbol. So as you can see here, there's a symbol of doors and symbol of lair. There's
Okay.
a symbol for each board, and then there's the symbol of Polysemous as well, which is kind of like the ultimate symbol. Um,
Hmm.
and these symbols, to collect them, so for this one, symbol of doors, which is this board here, I
Okay.
would need to travel to doors, activate the symbol, which I would do by simply declaring it and putting my player token onto it, like that.
Okay.
Now I can't use it as the item it is anymore, but then I go back to my room in Homestead and I say I collect, well, which is here, so I'll put myself, I've got the orange piece for some reason, but that's all right.
That's fine.
Let's say I had number 2.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, so now I collect the symbol, which I would just discard it, and I would complete that victory point.
That's cool. So you can actually pick this card up, the symbol of doors, from, say, another board, and that would give you a reason to come visit the doors board so that you can then
Yeah,
play this card here.
exactly.
Okay. I see that there's like a little 8G on the bottom left. Is that 8 gold, or
Mm,
is that the price of it, or?
correct. Yeah, it's
Okay.
8, so it's worth 8 gold. So you can sell items,
Okay.
and at the marketplace here on Nrail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the gold worth is used for some other things as well.
Great.
But yeah, like I said, it's a big emphasis on adventure. So there's no one way to do anything. A lot of it's going to boards and
Hmm.
hoping for the best, hoping for some good RNG,
Yep.
and yeah, kind of rolling with the punches as well, because it can be pretty brutal game sometimes.
Awesome. So you have different boards that you can control. You've got cards that have these symbols on them. And are there any other ways to earn points aside from that, or are those the two main ways to do it?
No, there's one more way,
Okay.
and that is to complete a quest.
A quest.
So
Okay.
yeah, so which is these cards here. So let's set them out. So this is where they go on top of the homestead board. You have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
and
Is that dependent on player count or anything, or is it always going to be 4 cards?
it's always 4.
Okay.
And the players secretly choose the one that they want to have for themselves, to assign themselves.
Oh, okay.
And so these are quests basically. So to complete a quest would give you a victory point. And quests can, as you can see, vary from obtaining certain things to breaking laws. So laws is another
Oh,
mechanic of the
jeez.
game. To obtaining afflictions. That should be afflictions. That's
Hmm.
terminology has changed since then. And this one's, some odd ones like this. So be on the same board when another player obtains a victory point.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a deck of,
Wow.
what was that,
28, I guess.
20, I think that should be 24. I think there might be 4 too many cards in that deck, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, anyway.
That's cool. These quests would be fairly difficult to do, considering that they earn you a whole point.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow. Okay. So lots of different ways to score victory points. Do you have any preferred way of explaining what this game is, or how you play it, or should we just go board to board and take a look at each one, or what do you prefer? What's
Yeah, let's go
easier?
board to board,
Okay.
and look at each one. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I see a huge one down here. It's this. It
Mm.
looks like N rail or N rail is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. And rail. Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this looks like some kind of. It's fairly large. Is it like some kind of town
Mm.
that you're traversing, or just a land?
Yeah, exactly. So it is 2 cities really. So you
Okay.
have Redwall here on this side and Talia here on this side,
Okay.
and these 2 cities are at war with each other.
Oh.
Um, the lore behind it is once they were brothers, but then they dispute. Well, yeah, once they were brothers, but then they disputed over who killed the dragon,
Hmm.
and then have since have become bitter, and that the story is now lost amongst them. They have no idea why they're still at war with each other, but they
Hmm.
still are.
Hmm.
So Nrail is a good place to go if you have gold and followers.
Okay.
So if you've got, some resources at your disposal to buy some things and to kill some things, or to battle and conquer some things, because there's things to buy,
Hmm.
and one of the ways to conquer Nrail, the only way to conquer Nrail is to battle tiles and conquer them, or seize them. Sorry, and
Okay.
to seize tiles.
Are you going to be joining like one faction or city and then attacking the other one, or?
Yeah, yep, exactly. So there are three factions, I guess you could join, and that
Okay.
is Red Wall, which if you join the Red Wall side, you take that golden faction. Only one player can be aligned with each faction.
Mm-hmm.
Or, um, or if you want to align with Talia, then you of course take that token.
Okay.
Or you can align for yourself and
Ah,
conquer it in your own name.
gotcha.
Mm.
Is that more work? I mean, do you have to like conquer both cities in that case?
Yeah, exactly. So to conquer Enrail is you have to seize half the amount of the enemy's tiles in Redwall's name or in Talia's name or in your own name.
Okay.
So for Redwall, that would mean 5 Talia tiles. For Talia, that would mean you'd have to conquer 6 Redwall tiles.
Okay.
And in your own name, it would mean you have to conquer 11 tiles.
Gotcha. And you mentioned
Mm.
conquering is now. I noticed that there's no combat on each of the like this is a completely blank tile. Is that something you can
Mm.
conquer, or are you looking for particular spaces to conquer?
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at this one, how do I do that little arrow thing?
Hit tab. There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool. So yeah, if you look here,
Hmm.
the ones that have the Talia symbol next to them, like there, and there, and there, those ones are Talia tiles.
Okay.
So, and the amount of numbers next to them is the amount of warriors defending them. So this one has 1 warrior defending it. This one has 2. This one has 1. As you can see, Fort Talia has 4.
4. Wow.
And so yeah, so you go and you do battle with them, and if you conquer them, so let's say I aligned with Redwall and
Hmm.
I'm and I've conquered Plague tile, then I would put the Redwall tile there, and that's now a Redwall tile. It's Redwall owned. It has 1 Redwall, warrior defending it, etc.
Great. And is this conquest or conquering tiles? When it comes to combat, is combat fairly easy? Is it just a matter of rolling dice, comparing attack to defense, or how streamlined is combat in this?
Yeah, but basically it's exactly what you said just there.
Okay.
You roll. You have followers. You roll the amount of D6 dice for the amount of followers you have, and you're just trying to roll successes, which is a high number on the dice. So as an
Okay.
attacker, that's a 5 or a 6.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, and it's just a matter of conquering so many tiles, and in doing so, you can actually conquer this board. Um,
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I have the terminology. I still do get mixed up because it has changed fairly recently, but I want to differentiate it from
yeah.
conquering boards. But in NRAR, it's called seizing tiles.
Seizing. Okay. Seizing. Gotcha.
Seizing, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Seizing, conquering. So is there a reason to, I guess, take one board compared to another? Is there a reason that you would come to this board and try and get a victory point as opposed to going to a different board and getting a victory point? Do you get like passive bonuses for taking certain boards over others, or?
Yeah, so each board, if you conquer it, not only can it give you a victory point,
Mm-hmm.
but it also gives you a reward as well.
Oh,
So the
okay.
reward for N-Rail is pretty substantial. If you conquer it in the name of Talia or Redwall, you get 3 gold and 1 follower per turn,
Mm-hmm.
which is huge, getting 1 follower per turn especially. But if you conquer it in your own name, you get 3 gold, 1 follower, and no 5 gold, 1 follower, and 1 item per turn, which is massive. So it is difficult to conquer Enrail though, but it has been done, and it really a lot of it depends on your choice. Also depends on what you have as well, what items you have, what laws are placed on different boards, where the other players are. You may be trying to avoid other players, etc.
Gotcha. You mentioned followers. Is there a deck for them, or are they just like kind of like tokens?
Yeah, this is a follower.
Oh,
That
okay.
one there. Yeah. There is unfortunately these ones. Oops. Unfortunately, these ones didn't render very well in Tabletop Simulator.
That's okay.
Like they're kind of small, and if you put them into the hand, they act weird. But this is
Mhm.
5 followers and 1 follower.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
does every follower have like a set attack and defense value?
everyone is just one dice
One die.
basically. So
Okay.
that would be one dice, and the other one would be 5 dice.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this Nrail board before we move on to a different one, or
It's
it looks
beautiful.
it's beautiful. It's big. There's a lot going on here, like this mining, the
Yeah.
portal. I feel like this board itself is just a game, so I can imagine
Mm.
what the other boards are going to be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Out of all the boards, this one is the most involved. And, if I were to choose one board to make a game in and of itself, it would be this one. This one does have the most going on. Nrail is kind of one of the original boards, the OG. So I think in around 2012, I first created Polysemous. And it had 6 boards, but it was basically Nrail is the only one that exists from there still. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
a long time planning.
yeah,
Holy cow!
yeah. It used to be called Sin City, but and it used to kind of be a bit more futuristic. But yeah, now I've changed it to Nrail.
Sin City. That would also there's a TV show called Sin City. So good luck trying to wrestle the
Yeah,
SEO away from that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So to the left, there's a cool looking board over here. I'll rotate the camera. What is this? It looks like some kind of portal, or I see a genie. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, there is a lot going on here. This is Gul'dom, so this is
Okay.
hell.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
that's
so
bad.
this is one of yeah, so this is one of the boards you can't conquer. So in Polysemous, you can definitely die, and if you die, you come to Gul'dom. So and in Gul'dom, you start here next to the dragon, and you move your way here. And there is actually a lot of lore to Gul'dom. This is based off a tabletop RPG me and my friend played a lot. And yeah, my friend, he's written who's actually also the co-founder of Total War Studios. He's written I'd say about 10 stories, short stories about just Gul'dom itself.
Wow. Okay.
So you start here, and this is kind of like the sorting chamber, and this fat man, well, he's called the fat man, he sorts people, and if you're not marked, which most of the time you won't be marked, you come to the first circle here, and then it's a slow, horrible descent into madness, and if you can't escape, if you miss all the portals, then it's a permanent game over.
Oof. And you can't go backward, I assume. You have to keep keep
Yeah.
moving forward. Do you have any cards or ways to offset bad RNG when it comes to dice rolling, or?
No. So one of the things about Gauntlet is that, you can't use any of your items, you can't use any of your traits, you can't buy any, you can't use any gold, you can't use any bribes. Everything's completely cut off from you.
Gotcha.
There is a good chance you will escape though. So, I mean, there's a portal here, 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 and a final portal here. So, the chances are, you're going to escape in the first circle, most likely.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just those who are unlucky continue on. And so in Gul'dom, we can. This is where you lose sanity, which is a big mechanic in the game.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, is the loss and gaining of sanity, and both of these are represented by these 2 cups here. So you have your blue sanity cup and your red insanity cup. And so every sanity you lose, you perform a dice roll called the Psy roll, PSY roll. And if you roll equal to or less than the amount of tokens in your sanity or insanity cup, then you'd gain a blessing or an affliction, respectively.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I noticed. Yeah, the sanity, and I saw another space. Where was it? Sanity, and yeah, there was something else too. Like you mentioned, there was 2 cups. So you can actually gain and lose sanity throughout the game, and this will provide you with various buffs and debuffs. Or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
okay. So this board here essentially is, instead of it being a hard game over when you die, this is giving you a last chance to get back into the game, but there's a good chance you'll lose sanity along the way, based on what I'm looking at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So you'll come back a bit bruised and worse for wear, but at least you're back in the run to try and win again.
Gotcha. Okay. And I guess there's a very simple one down here called the doors.
Mm,
Um,
doors. Yeah.
so it's a very short track from the looks of it. Um, is it just a matter of landing on a space and going to a door and opening it and getting a card, or how does that work?
Yeah. So doors is probably my favorite board. It's so simple, but it just works so well, especially with that simple, moving mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So behind each of these doors is something different every time, and you roll, and of course, roll and move like usual, like
Mm-hmm.
D4 dice, and your goal is to get every door opened indoors.
Wow.
Once every door is opened, you conquer the door. You conquer the board. Mm.
So you
Um,
interesting. So like if you pass a door because you rolled too much, you have to then come back to this place and try and re-land on places you haven't been yet.
yeah, so that's where there's a mechanic to doors called barging. So if let me get my player piece. Where did I? Oh, here it is. So if I am here, and let's say I roll a 3, so I should land here, right? In which
Okay.
case I could interact with that door,
Mm-hmm.
but I can do something called barging, where I will barge through this door, and I place the card here for it, and hang on, what was it? Q and E, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, open it or close any chamber of the tomb, in which case I would do that. But some cards, however, would be, let me get one out.
Sure. And I didn't know if you knew this quick tip, but if you hold in left alt over, say, a card or other object, it'll zoom, and you can use the mouse wheel while holding
Oh,
left alt to zoom it in and out. It's
oh
really
yeah,
helpful.
that's really good. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, area.
Okay.
So let's say we happen to draw this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I've done this, no problems. I roll again. What do I get? I get a 3 again. So I can now barge through this one, and of course, barging is really useful because I want to conquer doors, right? I want to try and
Mm-hmm.
get it one fell swoop because once you leave doors and it's unoccupied, all the doors shut again.
Oh, interesting. So you kind of have to
Mm.
barge through every door that you go by, or
Or if you're lucky and just roll ones, then that would
okay.
be fantastic because that's called peering. So barging, where we have excess movement, but we're stopping. And if we happen to roll this one, which is called descending depths, move to the marked tile on Gauntlet, I have to interact with that card because I barge through it, and I'd move myself to the marked tile on Gauntlet, which is over here.
Oh,
And
okay.
so now doors is unoccupied. All the doors close
Mm-hmm.
and go back to the doors deck, and doors is shuffled.
I see. So the difference between barging and peering. Peering, if you land on a door, you can peer it. I'm guessing that means that you can look at the card before you draw it, or before you interact with it. Um,
Yes, close. Basically, yeah, it means I can choose to interact with it or not. So I still flip over the card,
okay.
whatever that one is, Fairy King, and I could choose to enact that event or to not. I could just choose to ignore it, basically.
Okay. And you don't have to interact with the card to satisfy the condition of opening all the doors.
No, no,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So barging is a forced card interaction. Peering is you have the choice of interacting with the card.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. Cool. And if you manage to get through the gauntlet of sorts by getting through all 9 doors, and that counts as conquering, or if I say that right? I keep getting
Yeah.
conquering and
No,
uh,
you're right.
oh,
Yeah.
conquering. Yeah, so that counts
Yeah.
as conquering this board is just getting through all nine of these doors.
Yeah, exactly. So the moment I open the last door, I've
Mhm.
conquered the board.
Gotcha. Okay. And when you conquer a board, do you like get to teleport out immediately, or do you still have to get to the exit portal here?
No, I still have to move to the exit portal. Yeah.
Gotcha. When you do an exit portal, can you warp back to the same board that you're on, or are you forced to go to a different board?
Yeah, great question. You can move back to the board you're on.
Okay.
And in which case, yeah, if you do go back to doors,
Hmm.
then it is considered to be unoccupied for that moment.
Gotcha.
So all doors would close. Yeah.
Interesting. Can you conquer the same board twice? Like, if you conquer a board, can another
Mm.
player then conquer that same board, or are they forced to go elsewhere to get a different board?
Yeah. Another very good question. You definitely have an eye for games.
I've covered a few. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, there's some you can. So some you can't, like the obvious ones, like the lair. If you are to kill the creature, well, the creature's no longer,
Hmm.
there to be killed anymore. The tomb, if you take the tomb is no longer, the treasure won't be there anymore.
Okay.
Gauntlet as well, there's a treasure at the end. If you take the treasure, it's no longer there anymore.
Gotcha.
But for doors and Dreamscape, these boards can be conquered. I guess an NRAL because you can reconquer it in the other faction's name.
Okay.
These boards can be conquered by different players. So one player
Okay.
can never conquer a board twice, but different players could conquer the same board.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So you were talking. Well, I guess the next board here, to the left. Well,
Yeah.
based on my viewpoint, this looks like some
Yeah.
kind of spiral. And you mentioned that you can send a player here to do something, via card, or what exactly is this board all about?
Oh, is that in the rule book? Did I mention something about going to Homestead to do something?
Yeah,
Or
earlier in the video, you mentioned going to Homestead to, is it play a card, or it was to do something?
oh, right, to collect the card. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. So Homestead. This is home. This is where you begin your game.
Okay.
The law of this board is it's actually your prison.
Ah.
So the whole law behind Polysemous is that you are a prisoner and an interdimensional prisoner from a higher plane, one with more than just 3 dimensions, but you've been imprisoned in a lower dimension. So this was in fact your prison, but then when the game begun, it kind of just became your home
Hmm.
instead, in a way, a place to kind of come back to and do stuff and contact the council.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
um,
Can,
as you can see, there's player 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
okay.
and player 1 is far closer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares away from the portal. And that's one benefit of being player 1, is being so close to that central portal and going to other boards.
Okay.
As you can see, player 6, they're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tiles
Wow.
before they can really get anywhere. Mm.
Is there an
Um,
advantage that the other players get as compensation?
so no,
Okay.
but what happens is at the beginning of the game, turn order is set, and how this is done is by players bidding for turn order. So at the beginning of the game, you're given 10 gold and 1 follower, and you get to bid you as much as you want. Followers are worth 5 gold for the bid.
Hmm.
And the player who bids the most becomes the first player. The player who bids the second most becomes second, and so on.
Okay. Is there
Mm.
any reason to come back to this board? You mentioned something about playing cards earlier. Do you have to come back here and then back to your home prison space to play a card, or how does that work?
Yeah, so for collecting symbols,
Okay.
that this is the place you need to go. So I collected. Oh yeah, we have doors here, which is activated, and I've been on the exit portal. I walk back here, then I travel to my room. Let's say I'm player 1, and then now I have this activated symbol, and I can collect it. So I'd simply just discard it, and um, and
Got.
that's it. That symbol's collected, and I would have collected that victory point.
And that's in addition to completing the doors board too. So is that like 2 victory points there then? Like completing the doors board is 1, and then getting the symbol would be 2 then.
Yeah, but
Okay.
to activate the symbol, I wouldn't need to complete the board, though. I wouldn't
Okay.
need to conquer the board, though. I just need to inhabit the board
I
somewhere.
see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, and there's one other thing in your room that you can do that's very important, and that's reporting. So in your room, you can talk to the council. The council are the supreme beings who watch over this game. And and you can report other players. So, like I was said before with quests, this is actually what the whole what Polysemous was all based around, was these quests that are chosen secretly. And I kind of wanted to create more and more interesting and new and different quests. I didn't want it to be the same. I'll collect this much gold, collect this much items, collect, so on, collect. I wanted it to be really different and interesting. So, but to do that, I had to create more and more boards, and so that's kind of how Polysemous was birthed, around this whole secret quest system. And so, as a player, if you look on your player tokens, let's take this one here.
Okay.
And if we flip it over, see it's number 2.
Yep.
So at the beginning of the game, and you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your bags. At the beginning of the game, let's say I chose quest number 2. It would be upside down in my room, so no one else can see that. And I've chosen collector of antiquities, and I'm here. So I guess for clarification, actually, I might take your piece if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So let's say you go to your room now, and you're suspicious of me. You think I'm collector of antiquities. Maybe I already have a legendary item or something. So you would say, okay, I'm going to report to the council. I'm going to report Vince, and I think Vince is collector of antiquities. And if I'm right, then you have to flip your token over, and you draw a judgment, which is these here.
Oh, so quests are hidden in this game, and if someone else guesses the quest that you're on, there's a consequence to that.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't be too obvious with it. Judgments, that's like the best judgment. That's
slap on the wrist.
Exactly. But some judgments are absolutely devastating. I mean, most are devastating. They can be absolutely groundbreaking. You pretty much consider my game may as well be over.
Wow. Did these quests get randomly? Do you pick the quest at the beginning of the game, or is just one randomly assigned to you?
No, you pick the quest at the beginning of the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, of the 4.
Of the 4 that's available down here. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
The judgments. Well, there's one of my favorite one called NPC. And NPC is, I think it might be next actually. If you wanna.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Wow, you cannot move via natural movement. That I can't imagine how you would be able to do anything if 75% of the game is moving around the different boards. How you expect it to move? Wow.
Yeah. And you can have a bit of I've had some pretty interesting games with that one, because people will still have items that allow them to move.
Oh,
so there's one item. There's one item that's, I think it's called, Sentient Shadow, and you can move back 1 tile every turn. So literally they're just going back 1 tile every single turn.
That's creative.
Yeah.
How do you do that on the doors then? Because if you're moving forward constantly on the doors, I guess you can't use the doors board if...
Yeah, you just would not want to. You'd be stuck.
Yeah,
if you went to doors. Yeah. And
gotcha.
So, I mean, NPCs, it's one
Nasty.
of the most destructive... One of the cards is simply game over as well.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You don't pull any punches, do you? All right.
And that is one thing I really did want to capture in this game. When I do play, I love playing board games myself. And I understand, the balances and those small cards and decisions that kind of add to your chance of winning that little bit. But I never really liked, sword +1 attack, and that the +1 is barely anything. I want game-changing cards. Oh, you've drawn this card. That's awesome. That's epic. It's going to have these rippling effects, kind of thing.
You sound like a very chaotic kind of gamer, where you like the chaos. You do. Yeah, I know a lot of people that. They like their structured board games and they like routine, and then I have other friends that. The crazier the game, the better. This seems like the latter, where everything's just, you never know what's going to happen next kind of thing. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. I love that glass cannon build whenever I play games.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And one last thing there is, say, so you're reporting me, and let's say you actually think, though, you think I'm rebel.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not, I'm a collector of antiquities, I won't show my token and I'll say, no, unfortunately, you're incorrect. In which case, you now draw a judgment because your reporting was
Oh,
incorrect.
so you need to be sure. Gotcha.
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
how do you snuff out the hidden objective of someone else? Like, I mean, I guess if someone has a lot of curses on them, I would suspect that wretch card that I'm looking at. Uh,
Hmm.
but how would you? I mean, is there an easy way to sniff people out, or is it just you just got to take a leap of faith and hope for the best?
Yeah, there's definitely, you've played Werewolf, have you?
I have, not
Yeah,
often, but yeah, it's a multiplayer 4+, yeah, social
yeah,
deduction, yeah.
yeah. There is a bit of that involved that helps. Some people I've seen who have chosen Wretch, they're a bit too happy when they go to Gouldom.
Yeah.
And so, like, oh, that's a bit suspicious.
Yeah, right. All right,
um,
makes sense. Yeah.
and yeah, and then just small things like that. If someone keeps on trying to be on the same board as you and you're close to winning, then maybe you think they're vicarious victory.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Okay, makes sense
yeah,
to me.
yep,
Okay. I guess moving on to the board over here, there's a
yeah.
lot of different colored rows and columns or whatnot. It looks like some kind of path and some holes that you have to not land on.
Mm.
So what's going on with this one?
So this is Gauntlet.
Hmm.
So Gauntlet is pretty simple. You just need to get to the other side of the board.
Okay.
Now, um, now at the beginning of the game during setup, these tiles are shuffled as well. So this could be,
Oh, interesting.
anywhere really. This one has been specifically set for the tutorial, but yeah, and ideally, if you want to make it, less chaotic or more
Hmm.
doable, you want to keep colors separate. So yellow shouldn't be together and red shouldn't be together, etc.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And you roll
yeah.
dice and you just advance. Now, do you have to go straight down, or like is it a path that you have to follow, or
Yeah. So I can draw lines, can't I? I can. Cool. So is that? Oh no, it's not going to stay. That's all right. So within these four
Mhm.
tiles here, so you see, can you see this line if I draw
I
that?
can. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, yep. So that space there and this space here is the playable area of Gauntlet.
Okay.
And these tiles shift over this pit beneath it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So how do I?
So you're playing Frogger if you've ever played the old Atari
Yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say I roll a 2. Oh no, 3. I want to roll 3. 3. And so 1, 2, 3. I've landed on marked, which is a separate thing. We won't get into that.
Mhm.
And then I draw a card, and this card, we're going to just draw a random one, but I'll kind of state what it says.
Okay.
There we are. The cards at the bottom will say where the tiles shift. So the yellow
Um,
ones shift right, and the red ones shift left twice.
gotcha.
But let's say it said blue shift left twice, then this one would go that's once, and then twice. And now, because I need to remain in the playable area, it would have shifted beneath me there, and I would fall into a pit.
Ooh, that's not good.
Mm.
Is
Yeah,
what is that? Does that make you go back to the beginning, or you take damage, or how does that work?
it's death. So
That
I'd be in gold.
Holy cow! Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a board that only the mad would go to, but this is one of the two boards, the other one being Lair, where you can send your followers instead of yourself
Well,
across.
there you go. All right.
Yep.
Put red
So
shirts on them,
one,
and yeah, go for
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so my follower could go while I remain on the entering portal.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm.
So what happens if a tile moves more to the right than it can? Like, is it possible for a
Mm.
situation to be like where it's completely off the board and you just simply can't pass?
Yeah, no, there's not, because when
Okay.
it gets to this point, if it says to move left
Okay.
like 3 times, then you just move right 3 times
I see.
instead. It bounces back.
Balances. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Interesting. So leapfrog
Oh,
across this thing.
one important note as well is let's kind of trap myself in somehow. Let's put that there, and then how am I going to trap myself? I guess that like that. Yep. So I'm surrounded by pits because you can't move diagonally either, and you can move, quadrilaterally. I can move up, down, left, right. But I'm kind of surrounded here, and at this point, if I were to roll a 4, I would perish because you need to move the amount.
You can't stop your movement prematurely.
And you can't move backwards either. So I can't go, 1, 2, 3, 4 or something. I'd have to go from here 1, 2, 3, 4 to there.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
That
Because because you can't move to the right here because it's not the playable area. I get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can't. Yeah. And so the distance you moved has to be the amount you rolled from that original tile. So from. And I'm kind of messing it up, but just for clarification, if I were to roll a 3, I couldn't go 1, 2, 3 because that means I'm only one tile away from my original tile. I'd have to move 3 tiles away from my original tile.
Gotcha. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's one of the shorter boards, but it's high risk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And I guess this one here, right above it, well, based on what I'm looking at, some kind of altar. I'm rotating it. So what's this all about?
Yeah. So this is Tomb. So to conquer Tomb, you need to get the treasure in the middle.
Okay.
I forgot how to do the pointer thing again.
Tab?
Oh, there
you
it is.
go. You got it.
Yep, cool. So you need to get the treasure in the middle. Now this board's pretty, simple. You just move around the tiles in a clockwise direction, and kind of similar to N-Rail. You just keep going round and round and round. But you can open these chambers, and this is why it's kind of rendered weirdly like this. And the actual board itself in the manufactured version will be different too.
Okay.
So, but the way the way I figured how to do it like this, was so that we could do this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that chamber has now opened. That's the sun chamber. So that chamber's now opened.
Okay.
And you can see I've created a path here to the central tomb, the central chamber. But to get into there, I still can't get into there yet because I need to create a path in and out, which is kind of basic concept with all games. With all of Polysemous, you can't just go in somewhere and come back. Yeah. So if we were to, so you have to unlock it and then open that chamber as well. So now we've created a path in and out, or in and out, whichever way you want.
That's cool. Are these tiles randomized at the beginning of the game, like in different positions, or are they always going to have the same setup?
No, because the actual board itself, it will be, it will be, like an actual, it will be just one board that folds out with each triangle folding out.
That makes
sense.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing is randomized though, and this is the way to open Tomb Up, are the keys. So these are the keys for the board. So this is the sun key, which will open the sun chamber, and the void key, which will open the void chamber, etc., etc. And then the moon chamber and the star chamber.
So what are the perils here? Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to come to this board?
Yes. These are the perils, so the sentinels.
Ah, okay.
So these sentinels are immortal creatures that move 1 space per turn to the nearest player on tomb. So whenever we open a chamber, sentinels appear at the far end of that chamber. So this one actually has 2. The other ones only have 1 at the end of the chamber. And they will begin coming towards you. Now, the sentinels are... Oh, I need to lock that again. The sentinels are pretty devastating. So if they land on the tile next to you, then you lose 1d4 sanity. But if they land on you, you lose 1d4 followers.
Oof.
And if you have no followers, then you just draw an affliction straight away.
Holy cow.
Affliction's a permanent debuff, so...
Is there any way to combat them, or do you just have to avoid them?
Yeah, it's just running away from them,
Gotcha.
basically.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Nasty.
yeah.
And do they come outside to the main board, or do they stay in this little area here?
No, yeah, they go everywhere, and they can
Wow.
go. They can go the opposite direction, or through here wherever they need to go.
Whatever's
Yeah, I guess
closest to you.
yeah, they're of this board, so I guess they know the best ways to navigate it.
All right.
Yeah,
And you said to conquer this board, you just get to the middle. So you need to open two tombs at least. So you have
yeah,
one way in, one way out, and then get out of there before the sentinels murder you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Much,
Anything
much.
else? Hmm?
No, I was just going to say it's much better looking this side
They all
with
look
that
nice.
all the
Yeah.
dead space. Yeah,
Yeah. I am. Yeah, like you said, this is a prototype slash tabletop simulator, version.
mm.
So I imagine the full version will be, the finished product will be, better on both sides.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so what's this purple gem board up here? Some kind of dragon? I'm not sure what that is.
yeah, yeah. Cool. This one is Lair. So Lair is a board I really like. It's just got a nice charm to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite a bit different from the other boards. But similar to Gauntlet, you can, so say we've walked to Lair. Similar to Gauntlet, you send your followers in.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get eaten by
And
the dragon. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yep. And so this creature is called the creature that dwells. It doesn't have a specific form per se.
Okay.
This is the card. This is the card that the board's deck.
Okay.
And a dragon is on the deck, but that's just been the graphic designer's choice to do that.
Okay.
So the deck itself, the board itself, you want to kill this creature, and this is the creature's health tracker.
Oh.
So this is going to be hollow in the middle. This
Okay.
token, and the creature has 10 health that you need to destroy. And once that's done, you've conquered the board, and so you just use your followers to battle the creature.
Okay.
Now the creature has 4 locations. So it has the entering portal. So only 4 locations. It has the entering portal. It has the well here.
Mm-hmm.
It has the temple, and it has the cliff up here. And so every turn you move your followers, or yourself if you want to, but it's probably generally not a good idea. 1 location per turn. So you don't roll any dice, you just move 1 location.
Okay.
And at the end of every turn, the creature draws an event card as well and attacks a location on there. So this one you can see with the X here will attack the cliff. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
We've got another one.
8d6.
Whoop.
Wow.
Hang on. Yeah, that one's pretty. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that one, Gluttonous Chomp would attack the well.
Well, 4d6. And how many hit points does your followers have? Because 4d6 is. I mean.
Yeah. So the creature rolls successes on a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
And so for every 5 or 6 it would roll, you would lose 1 follower.
Wow.
Basically.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. When I think 4d6, I think actual sum up all the numbers. I played some D&D in my day, and it's like 4d6 was pretty bad.
So, yeah. I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reason why you'd want to venture further into the lair, why you'd want to go to the cliff, or why you'd want to go to the temple, is because the temple is less attacked by the creature.
Okay.
And the cliff, you deal double damage, but you get more interest from the creature there, though.
Gotcha. Do you have to be adjacent to the spot, or can you just attack from anywhere?
Yeah, so the only place you can't attack from is the portal.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can attack him from the well, from the temple, and the cliff.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just an arena battle with this deck. So it seems like one of the more simpler ones, but depending on the RNG of the cards, it could be really bad, depending on where he attacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had some people, it looks like 100% they're going to kill the creature, but then they get like a terrible card and things don't go well. Yeah, and other times a person rocks up here with one follower and just manages somehow to kill the creature with their hero follower, and it's just it's those kind of moments are just epic. You know?
That's the chaos that you like, though. So
yeah,
mission
exactly,
accomplished.
Yeah.
All right. So this board here, not sure what to make of it.
So this is Dreamscape.
Okay.
So this is a place you go to dream. So when you can sleep and dream in this game, and you can choose to do so on any board basically except Gouldum. Gouldum's the only board where you can't dream. So let's say I am. Where'd my player piece go?
Probably on one of the other boards somewhere. Oh, it's on the. Is that the home?
Oh yeah, I'll use you.
You can use mine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's pretend, I don't know, you're here on Gauntlet and you want to dream, and there is a little dream roll you have to do to make sure you do it. And so now you're dreaming, you place your player token there, and your player piece just basically comes to anywhere on Dreamscape. It doesn't
so you
really
don't
matter.
portal in and out like you would with another board. It's just you go to sleep and you come here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, every turn, you just roll these 2 dice and plot yourself on this board. So 6 is for the x-axis and 3 is for the y-axis.
Okay.
So I would go 6 and 3, and I would land here, and this is the wake zone. So from here, nothing happens, but I can choose to wake up. That's it.
Okay.
If I were to roll a 6, that's a 6 and a 2. Can I make that 2 if I go? There we go. 6 and a 2, then I'd go here. And this is the fog zone. I can't wake up in the fog zone. And I lose all of my collected dreams in the fog zone as well, which is not good. Then the outer quadrants are the dream quadrants. So we have serene dream, a dream of wonder, a nightmare, and a dream of message. So here's the Dreamscape event deck.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and let's say, what do you want to dream?
Whatever.
What do you feel like?
That upper right one looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So dream of wonder. So we draw 1 card from the deck, and we flip it over, and the wonder there is.
I see. Mind-bending physics.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so there's an initial for each of the 4 different quadrants. Okay, so that's cool. So rather than having 4 decks for each of the quadrants, you have 1 deck, and you just have a possibility for each of the 4 on the 1 card.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now the goal of Dreamscape is to collect 5 dreams. So now that you're here, you rolled here,
okay,
and you have this dream. You've now collected that dream, and so that will go into your hand or in front of you wherever you like. And so if you keep managing to collect dreams, even if they're nightmares, that's a good thing. And the thing you don't want is to land in the fog and to lose all your collected dreams.
Ooh, oh yeah, okay. Wow, that is pretty nasty. So 5 dreams is enough then. Now, when you lose your collected dreams, do your status effects reset, or are you stuck with the bad things that have happened to you up to this point?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're stuck with the bad things,
Okay.
all the good things that that could have happened to you up to that point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dreamscape is a bit
random,
50-50. I would say actually a bit more 60-40, leaning to positive things that happen. Yeah,
cool. All right, so come here, dream. But you, like you said, you can stay asleep here for as long as you want. But to wake up, you need to be in the center area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So were there any boards that we happened to miss at this point? It looks like we covered all of them.
Yeah. No, that's all the boards. Yeah.
Okay. Now there were some components that we didn't completely go over. And I know there's a lot to go over. Are these combat cards of some kind? These
that's the N-Rail deck. So that follows. So whenever you land on an empty space in N-Rail, you would draw from the N-Rail deck and enact that event.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the N-Rail deck events are the most tame. Is a good word for it.
Tame, yeah. No chance of instant death in this.
Yeah, exactly. But you will see like that one war. Talia seizes the dungeon. So that's the war going on around you. So right there, Talia to do that one, you would put the Talia tile on the dungeon there.
Okay.
And so that's Talia just actually attacking red wall.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. And you've got these scroll cards over here. Are these laws or?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. Players. Now, how do you get these laws? I think I remember you saying something about the laws, but refresh my memory.
Yeah. No, I don't think we've touched on laws much. So laws are placed at the beginning of the game during setup, only by player 1 and by player 2, which just incentivizes that higher position all the more.
Right.
And so basically these laws must be abided on that deck, on that board. Now, the reason why I use terminology like that is because you can break a law and choose not to abide by it.
Okay.
But whenever you break a law, you draw a judgment.
Is it one of these laws per board, or do these laws only apply to the in-real board?
No, they can be on any board. So initially, player 1 will draw a law and apply it to any board of their choice.
Okay.
And then player 2 will draw. Player 2 will draw one law, apply it to any board of their choice. Then player 1 will draw 2 laws and apply them to any board of their choice.
Gotcha.
So all 3 laws could be on one board or wherever they like.
Gotcha. And judgments are is it these cards right here? These
exactly.
Misery? Okay.
Yeah, the devastating cards. Yeah.
These are really bad. Okay. All right. I see some other cards over here. What are these all about? Split personality and looks like some kind of gem.
Yeah, so these are the afflictions, and those are the blessings. So when you gain sanity, you can gain blessings, which are buffs to your character, and when you lose sanity, you can gain afflictions, which are debuffs to your character.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I like these. The white being good, black being bad. I like that distinction.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there anything else? Like, I know we covered a lot. Was there anything that you really wanted to focus on, or anything that you really wanted to emphasize or go over that you think is the most important, or are you happy with everything up to this?
Yeah, there is one more mechanic we haven't covered.
Okay, go for it.
And it's actually the bribe tokens, which are these ones here.
Okay.
So these, you being a creature from a higher dimension, you actually have ordinarily you'd be able to mold space-time to your will in this lower dimension. But because you're a prisoner and the council's watching you, they're not letting you use those powers. So what you have now, what you can do instead, though, is bribe the council. And these are bribes.
Okay.
Every turn you can pay 3 gold and give it, discard the gold, basically, and choose, buy a bribe token of choice. You can only buy 1 per turn.
Okay.
And so time bribe tokens literally just do that. You can either make other people draw misturn tokens, or you can get extra turns yourself. Space bribe tokens generally allow you to move like 1 square back at the end of your turn, or to swap places, or to move any tile on the board. Basically, that's the 10. If you manage to rack up 10 of these, which is not that easy, and you were to go to Gauntlet, you could literally just spend 10 and teleport to the other side of the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that, yeah.
Yeah. And then 4D is a bit more abstract. The lesser power makes people lose sanity. The middle power lets you control cards, actually, which is one more mechanic I'd like to go over with you, because it's a pretty cool mechanic, unique one to Polysemous. And so it's a bit more abstract in what the 4D time token does.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are these cards that you're referring to? The
controlling cards?
The controlling cards, yeah.
Yeah. So, to control a card, you can do it with 4D bribe tokens. Sometimes you can do it with certain events, which say control certain cards. And it's basically you draw the top card of the deck, of a deck, whatever deck you're going to control a card from, which could be anyone. Okay. And you control the drawing of it, nothing more.
You mean like you could deal it to another player?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So if I want to draw, I want to know what quest. I can see someone's about to complete their quest, maybe, and I want to know what quest they're going to draw next, because whenever you complete a quest, you draw a quest. Okay. So I'm going to take this card, No one else can see what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to put my token on top of that deck now to symbolize that I control the top card, and I myself can look at this card and secretly know that this is the top card of that deck, and I control it. Now, if someone goes to draw from this deck, they see my token there, and
Mm-hmm.
they would ask me, "Do you want me to draw the card you control, or do you want me to draw the next one under?" And that's my decision. I can choose for them to draw this card, in which case I lose control of the top card, or they can just draw straight from the deck, in which case I keep control of this card.
So you could keep a nasty card and then save it for when someone wants to draw from that deck or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Um.
I know it's a big game, so
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of which, like, what are your plans for like launching on Kickstarter? Are you going to do that soon? Is it like February, March, April?
I would love to do it end of April. Originally, last year I was planning end of February, and then that drew closer. I was thinking end of March. But I really wanted videos like this with proper professional reviewers like yourself.
I don't know about proper and professional, but I do my best.
Because we did actually do a Kickstarter in 2021.
Okay.
And one of the main bits of feedback I got then, and it was such a good learning experience,
Yeah.
was that people wanted reviews, or they wanted people, professionals and YouTubers, etc.'s input into the game. So we're basically just waiting on that. So I'm giving myself a good time frame. End of April, we're going to get it on. But hopefully, we'll get end April. Yeah, end of April.
And I always say things are subject to, like, any kind of video like this or press release. I always say subject to change, because I've seen it 100 times in this industry. Dates are always moved because of something. So it's just, I completely understand. You definitely are shooting for April, but, I will add a disclaimer in there that, anything can happen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. So, all right. Do you have any ideas for, in terms of, like, are you going to have stretch goals, or do you have an idea of what the tier listings are going to be? Like, some developers do the regular standard version will be $30, and the premium will be $70, and we'll have miniatures. And do you have any ideas as far as different tiers and stretch goals or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I was just making them last night, actually, because it's one of my I really want to get that Kickstarter page up and going, so I can get people to start liking it and following it and so on. And so I did create 3 stretch goals. So the first one's just the base game, which is $80.
Okay.
And the second one is basically the base game, but you do get digital concept art from the concept artist, whose name is Grace Stevens.
Okay.
And which is $115.
Okay.
And then the last one, I think. I mean, yeah, it's basically
like an all-in kind of thing.
an all-in thing, but what I'm giving is really, I guess it depends. It could be, some people could see it as super useful. Some people might think it's useless, which I don't know, because I'm trying to get good stretch goals, but with what I have, I'm struggling to think of proper ones. So anyway, what I have is, I will send you like some original cards that I've created when I was developing Polysemous, if you know
cool.
what I mean.
Yeah. I completely understand. Yeah, I know some developers that include like STL files and other behind the scenes stuff like that. Where players can print out, promo cards of some kind, or like you said, original concept cards that never made their way into the game. Some people really like that stuff, and like you said, it's not for everyone, but some people do like the backstory of a game that they like.
Well, yeah, that's good to hear, because I was kind of thinking, is this a bit like benign, or a bit,
No,
this is just fall short? But yeah, that's good to hear.
I've seen it before. I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but I've seen it before.
Yeah,
I've never been on the development end of a board game. I've I've covered a lot, but so I don't know how successful the developers are when they do that. But I do know that they do include that as a tier sometimes. So
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Cool. All right.
do you have any
Awesome.
plans for like upgrade token? Like, do you like some Kickstarter campaigns do like you can purchase the matte or acrylic tokens instead of the standard ones? Any plans to like
Hmm.
offer an upgrade to the pieces themselves, or do you think they're high enough quality to where you don't need to worry about that?
Yeah, that hasn't been something I've considered.
Okay, that's fine.
But
Fair
I
enough.
mean, I'm not saying it's just something
Mhm.
that just has I've never just had never has come to my mind.
No, that's cool.
Because I mean, I have I backed Root, I remember, and got those really cool
Oh yeah.
what are they like boundary where you
Mm-hmm.
there can be fox locations,
Yep.
and I remember that was like an upgrade thing, which was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think at the moment, being just an indie developer, just trying to manufacture a game is
Overwhelming. Yeah.
yeah is hard enough as it is. So
I'm not on your side
I'm
of
trying
it.
to simplify things.
I completely understand. I'm not on your side of it
Yeah,
at all, and like I get a little stressed for you guys. So if I'm a little stressed for you guys, I can only imagine what you guys are going through on your end, trying to
yeah.
because you have to deal with the shipping and the production, and oh,
Mm,
this didn't print right, so I got to send it back to the manufacturer. I've seen a lot of horror stories in the industry, so I not
yeah,
to deter you or anything. I'm just saying like I
yeah,
understand what you're
yeah,
going through.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, we know the game is coming to Kickstarter in April, with, various, stretch goals and other tiers and different things like that. Um, was there anything else that you wanted to, like, plug or advertise or anything else to say about this before we ended here? Or?
Um, I this hopefully will not just be a one-off thing for Turtle Wasp Studios. Hopefully we're able
Okay.
to make many more games. I mean, I've before in terms of what my history in board game developing. This is my
Mm-hmm.
first proper one, but it was actually the first one I ever made, and then I made about 10 other board games that I'll just play amongst my friends, and then that's when someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, why don't you try and actually produce one of these?" And
Mm.
yeah, Polysemous always had that special charm to it. So, if Polysemous is successful, we've got a bunch of other games lined up that we hope to release as well. That um, they're all mostly going to be, I think, have that same soul to it in
Okay.
terms of brutality.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, 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 chaos and but creativity, and adventure.
That's cool. Do you plan
Yeah.
to add to this game, or do you think it's enough? Like, do you plan to like add expansion boards to this at some point?
Mm. I do have a small document of potential expansions for Polysemous. I really I'm not a believer. You know what those
Hmm.
big companies do these days. They release the game that's half a quarter finished, and then you gotta have the like DLC
Yes.
to.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate
Uh
that.
huh. Me
So
too.
so I definitely don't want that. I mean, that no one can argue. There's enough to this game as it is anyway. So
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I do have like an idea for the opposite of a judgment deck, which is maybe going to be called like a favor deck or something, which will be like ultra beneficial and make people like supremely powerful. And there's some other concepts I considered as well. Definitely in advanced rules, because there have been lots of little things I've taken out of the game just to simplify it.
Wow.
That I might, it might just be just a small booklet even sent out to. Actually, that would be a good stretch goal, wouldn't it?
That would be cool. And to help
Yeah.
ease people into it, have you considered some kind of easier mode where some of the mechanics are actually taken away just to help players get the
Hmm.
idea of moving around the different boards, and then introduce
Hmm.
some of the more brutal concepts later? Just a thought.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, there's opportunity for, like you said, advanced rules, and by the other token, easy rules too, if you wanted to do that. I know it's not your thing. You're the Skyrim hardcore player, survival mode where you have to eat. you can't fast travel, none of that. So I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, you're pretty much spot on there. I really like that idea of easy mode though. Like even taking out certain boards, it does get a bit tricky because
Some tie with
you
each
know,
other.
yeah, exactly. Like if I were to take out Tomb, which would be a good one, or Lair or something, which which would be good to remove to play easy mode. That means I also need to take out items and
Out of the deck.
events from doors and quests as well, which maybe that's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, if you somehow, I don't know if you can number the cards, but if you numbered each of the cards, you can say in the rules, and this is just a suggestion, mind you. If you're going to play with these boards, remove cards, blah 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 blah, numbered, something like that, just so you can identify the cards easily without having to read them all. But
Yeah,
I imagine adding more stuff to cards like that would be more costly too. So it's something to think about.
yeah. I think the tutorial I created just last week and released to my the people on my mailing list and that to start playing TTS, Polysemous on TTS. I think it's a pretty good tutorial, and it's pretty interactive and engaging. So I'll be interested to see the feedback I get from that. If that works out really well, then yeah, maybe we won't need to consider like an easy version. But maybe
Right.
if I do get some like tentative feedback, yeah, I might need to consider that. But yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good. I'm lost for words.
That's okay. Yeah, just a suggestion, really.
Yeah, suggestion.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a really good suggestion. So
Yeah.
thank you.
That's fine. How long does a typical game take? I mean, with all these rules and all these boards, are we looking at like a couple of hours of playtime, or possibly even longer?
Yeah. So generally speaking, 30 minutes per player. So if there's two
Okay.
players, roughly an hour, three players, an hour and a half, etc.
Okay.
And I mean, I have had games though with four players, and it took 30 minutes, but that's an outlier.
Gotcha.
And I have had games with two people that lasted like 4 hours, but again, that was another outlier. So yeah, if a person just has a really good starting hand and they're able to get that first player, or maybe they, victory conditions are chosen very well in their favor, and they complete a victory point immediately, and they go to doors and get really lucky, then the game can be over really quickly. And that is where it's quite surprising how powerful just small decisions are in this game, like where to warp to, and who to use this certain item on, and people to focus on, and it's quite interesting the the small choices in the game, and yeah, how powerful they are.
Some of this reminds me of the board game Talisman, where you're moving your character around a board and leveling them up, and you've got all these different attributes. Now, I noticed that I don't see attributes here. Does your character get, do they like power up or level up in any way aside from items, or can they get a +1 I know you said you don't like those kind of modifiers, but do they still get anything like that in this game?
No, in
Okay.
short. There is one thing though that kind of symbolizes that, or resembles that rather, and that is the starting class. So
Oh,
at,
that's
yeah,
good. Okay, so these classes.
so at the beginning of the game, and the class really only just affects starting possessions, and that's it.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the game, players can choose from 5 different classes, and these classes are quite strangely named. There's an abiogenesate, there's a geodigion, there's a quidnunc, there's a copernicite, and the last one has left. I can't remember the last one. It's quite a new thing to the game actually, but it's working out really well.
Okay.
And so basically, an abiogenesate, for instance, gets 2 extra followers at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
A quidnunc gets to draw another law and also gets to control 2 cards. A copernicite gets nothing extra.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think the other ones, another person gets like gold and a blessing, and yeah, for the life of me, I can't remember the last one. I could get up the rules, but yeah, is it worth it or?
I'm looking now.
Oh yeah.
I don't see. I just googled the word class. Oh, entangler.
Yeah, that's it. Entangler.
Yeah,
That's it.
one item is what I guess you get an additional item when you start the game.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Um, cool. And I guess if you wanted to extend your experience, you could play to like 3 victory points as opposed to two, or would that make the game
Mm.
extremely long?
Yeah, that's another thing. No, I don't think it will. That's another thing I am considering adding to the game. Just different modes.
Mm-hmm.
There could be like
Variants.
a mode where you only want to conquer boards, and the first person to conquer all the boards wins. Or a mode where, yeah, like you say, just extra victory points, or maybe less victory points.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah,
Makes sense to me.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate all your time, and I apologize if we spent too long on this, but
No,
there was a lot
no,
to
not at all.
cover and to go over, and yeah, so we'll be on the lookout then for your Kickstarter in April, and I'll have that press release done, and it'll be published uh, on launch day, so everyone on my end will be able to see it as it goes
Oh,
live. So
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
So thank you so much
Awesome.
for your time, Joel, and
Yeah.
yeah, we wish you the best of luck with this.
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask you one more question
Yeah,
before you go?
absolutely. Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, I guess two more. The first one is, yeah, what do you think? What do you think of the game?
I'm I'm overwhelmed, but that's only because I'm old. I'm
Yeah.
the older I get, the the older I get, the less I don't know. I cover a ton of games. I have got 700 games in
Mm,
my library alone. So for a game like this with a rulebook of 50 pages, this is a game I would need to sit down with. It seems like the learning curve is higher than average, and that's not
mm.
necessarily a bad thing. I'm not
Yeah.
downplaying it. I'm simply
Yeah.
saying, based on what I've seen so far, there's a lot of boards, there's a lot of little rules, a lot of cards. Um, this is clearly a passion project. Like I can tell
Mm,
you put your heart and soul into this, and there's a lot going on, and the amount of
mm.
balancing that you guys had to do probably to make certain things work, I can't imagine. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's good. I mean, this is a game I would play.
Mm,
It's just not. I wouldn't be able to bring it out due to my schedule as often. That's why I suggested
yeah.
like an easy mode to where it would be more accessible to the more casual slash busy player. But
Yeah.
what I think it's got potential for sure. I mean, I
Mm,
like what I see.
yeah. In terms of complexity, like, is it
Mhm.
the most complex game you've ever
Oh,
reviewed, or is it
mm,
just
well, Twilight Struggle was a mind bender.
yeah?
I recently played Frostpunk, the board game, and that
Oh yeah,
that was pretty complex.
yeah.
I think the biggest learning curve for me here is going to be how everything ties together. Like you've got your
Mm,
concept with the laws and the judgments, and this board over here somehow interacts with this over here.
mm,
So like I think the more you learn this game, the easier absolutely will get to play. It's just going to
mm.
be getting over that initial hurdle. So
Yeah,
this isn't the most complex game I've ever played, but it's
yeah.
certainly up there because there's a lot of little things that if
Mm,
all the players miss, it could derail something or cause something
yeah.
to happen. So if you probably already have something in the works, but definitely some kind of FAQ or some sort of rules document, most
Mm,
easily missed rules or something, so that
mm.
players can quickly refer to that, so that they're not missing anything. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what with a game of this scope, I would highly recommend that if you haven't done that already.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
I've created little rule reference sheets
Hmm.
for each board, and then just one with the main rules or
That's
the
awesome.
main concept set on it as well. But yeah, cool.
Hmm.
And maybe one more thing
Yeah.
to add is, going along with what you're saying. Um, the game plays super smoothly as long as one person knows the rules
Hmm.
in the group, because everything's like open hand, just about like all items and traits and everything's open hand.
Right.
And so the only thing that's secret, I guess, is the quests. But it's because the core mechanic is so simple, roll and move. The game just plays really smoothly, just as long as that one person in the group knows the rules.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, like
yeah,
the way you explain the game, it makes sense when you're explaining it. But when I first opened Tabletop Simulator, my mind went, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and again, I don't want to say that's a bad thing. It's not. It's just,
yeah.
like you said, there's a lot of little things, and having one player guide, because I would imagine there's a lot of different strategies in this game because there's so many different boards. The different classes have different starting abilities. There are different decks. There's a lot of take that from. I haven't played this, but it seems like there's a lot of take that with the ability to, buy a bribe that with that 4D or whatever, and then hold a card and then play it on someone else when you want to. Just ways to screw people over in this game. So, like, I imagine that there's certain strategies that player should know about and definitely like guide the others on, because if I were to play this right now, I would not know where to start. I would probably I'm not sure what board to go to. What should I somehow get followers? Okay, how do I get followers? Or you know what I mean? So like you said, I think having someone sort of mentor or teach as they go, that would be ideal.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome. I really appreciate that. Thanks for that good feedback.
Yeah. And keep in mind that these are just first impressions of me not having played the game. So take what I say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's good for sure. Yeah.
So, well, thank you for your time. And do you want this video published right away, or do you want me to hold on to it until it's closer to launch time?
Yeah. I would love at least, I think until I at least get that Kickstarter page up and running.
Sure.
So that
Absolutely.
if, this does generate interest, then people actually have something to click on and,
Makes sense.
that would be fantastic.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. And again, good luck with this particular campaign. You can reach out to me anytime you need to, though.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Vince. I really appreciate it. It was good chatting about it.
Oh, you too. It was a pleasure. Yeah. All right. Take care.
Cool. Yeah, you too.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.